Hi, sorry. I'm so sorry for, missing the class earlier and joining late.
So we'll
Sorry.
schedule the class at 4 and we'll start with the
Hmm.
national income.
Hmm.
And welcome to the 13th session of the Economics 12th ISC Refresher course.
Hmm.
And today we will go through the macroeconomic concept of national income. So, what do we mean by national income before we move on to the circular flow of income? Is national income same as GDP?
No.
Okay. So, GDP is different from national income then.
Yeah, that's what I feel because GDP is gross domestic product. That is how much how the country is producing. But
Yes.
income is more how much income is net exports minus imports, right?
Uh, that is net exports.
But can that not be used to calculate income as well? Exports is basically how much we are
So national
selling.
income can be the total goods and services which are produced. The income which we earn from the goods and services produced can be termed as national income.
Okay, yeah.
And we go to the first circular flow of income in a two-sector economy. So it is defined as the flow of payments and receipts for goods, services, and factor services between the households and the firm sectors of the economy. So there are only two sectors in this type of circular flow of income, where households and firms, and households do the spending, and firms produce goods and services which are sold to the households. And there are factor payments and factor services which are made from households to firms. Yes, that's the right figure of circular flow of income in a two-sector economy.
Yeah.
And we go on to the third or a three-sector economy.
No.
And in a three-sector economy, there are households, business firms, and government.
Household, business firm, and government. Yeah.
And in the middle center of the circular flow of income, there is the
Capital market.
financial market as well.
Yeah.
So financial market is just the loans or the bonds which are borrowed by business firms and households. They could be stocks as well in the financial market.
Hmm.
And in the three-sector economy of a circular flow of income, there's the government involved, and households pay net tax to government, firms pay taxes to government, and government purchases goods from the business firms, and wages are paid by the government to the households. And business
And
firms pay wages,
wages
rent,
can be in the
interest.
form of pension and all also, no?
Yeah, pension also can be paid by the government. That is towards households.
Hmm.
And there are wages, rates, interest, and profits which are paid by the business firms. So profits can be dividends as well. Wages can be salary. Rent is the amount paid on premises which is rented out by the business firms. Interest can be the interest which is there on stocks or shares. And
Hmm.
households invest savings on the financial market. So they invest in stocks, securities, and bonds. and financial market later invests in business firms. And the last concept of the three sector model is the consumption expenditure on goods and services. So expenditure is mainly done by the households on goods and services, which are mainly produced by the business firms. So
Yeah.
we move on to the next four sector model of circular flow of income. There are households, there are business firms, there's the government, and there are foreign countries involved as well. So when there are foreign countries involved, there are imports and exports involved, there are foreign remittances involved, there is foreign capital, foreign direct investments, which comes in from the foreign countries to the home country, and it could be through business firms. So FDIs can be through business firms from foreign countries. Imports and exports are also through
FDIs. What are FDIs?
FDIs are foreign direct investments. So foreign countries invest in India in the form of foreign direct investments. And there are exports and imports. There are mainly imports coming in from foreign countries, which business firms will have to make payment for. For example, in a garment factory which exports garments, that time there's a receipt from exports from the foreign country. When they import
Yeah.
garments from a foreign country, there'll be a payment for the imports. And from foreign countries, there are foreign remittances made to households. So there are many citizens working outside the country in foreign countries. So they make timely foreign remittances. And there is also the export of manpower from the home country to foreign countries. So it mainly flows from the households to foreign countries. And the other three models or the three sectors, which are the government, households, and business firms, they are similar to the three sector model of the circular flow of income.
Yeah.
And there are injections in the circular flow of income and withdrawals. So there are three injections, mainly investment, government spending, and exports. Investment is the spending by firms in machines, buildings, and stock of materials and components. Government spending is spending on public services undertaken by central government and local authorities. Exports, which is called X, spending by other countries on goods and services produced in the domestic economy. So injections are mainly the money which is going into the economy or the circular flow of income.
Yeah.
So it boosts the economy as a whole. Investment is by firms on machines, land, on technology. Government spends on roads, on infrastructure, on developing various infrastructures in cities and in towns and in villages as well. Exports is mainly which are going from the firms, which are produced by the firms and going out of the country. And there's the amount coming in from foreign countries in exports. So there are withdrawals or leakages in the circular flow of income. Income that is not spent on domestically produced goods and services. So there are three withdrawals: the savings, taxes, and imports. So households have savings. So also firms also may have their savings as profits. So firms may retain some of their profits so they can finance some of their investment. And taxes are paid by households and firms. This also reduces the amount of income that can be spent. Imports are the spending on goods and services produced abroad, which is not
One
passed on
second.
to the
How
domestic.
does okay, okay, yeah, yeah, sorry. Got it, got it. No, no, I got
So
it.
leakages or withdrawals are money which is going out of the economy, because taxes, there's the amount going in from the households and firms to the government. Imports, we pay we pay money on goods and services produced abroad. So there's a payment to the foreign countries. Savings are invested mainly on investment. So households have savings, firms have savings. So they use some of their savings to finance some of their investment. And next is the gross domestic product. So we've heard of GDP in newspapers day in, day out, and the TV news channels as well. So India's growth rate is mainly on GDP. It is based on the GDP which the development is calculated in India. So gross domestic product is a measure of all currently produced final goods and services evaluated at market prices. GDP includes only currently produced goods and services. It is a flow measure of output per time period. For example, per quarter or per year, and includes only goods and services produced during this interval. Market transactions such as exchanges of previously produced houses, cars, or factories do not enter into GDP. So any new goods and services which are produced are calculated in the GDP, whereas old houses, cars, or factories which have been previously produced and sold are not entered into the GDP because there will be a double calculation.
Okay.
So products which are once sold cannot be again calculated into the GDP. So let's say, for example, a second-hand car.
Second-hand car.
Yes.
Yeah, I was gonna say that.
And a house which has been built in 2000. It'll be a second-hand house which will be sold, right? In
Yeah.
2023.
Yeah.
And factories also, market transactions such as exchanges of factories also do not enter the GDP. And exchange of assets such as stocks and bonds are examples of other market transactions that do not directly involve the current production of goods and services and are therefore not in
So,
GDP.
okay.
So
So the
stocks,
stocks and all, so stocks are what? They are not even considered like
yeah, they're
shares.
not, yeah, they're not
They're not even
considered in the
considered
GDP.
in calculation of GDP, is it?
They're not calculated in the GDP because they are not a tangible asset or a goods or service. They are
How is
intangible
not a
assets.
how is a stock an intangible asset? It's your share in a company, no? Like it is like your share in a company, so that is tangible. Your share is tangible, and can be measured in money terms, right?
It can be measured in money terms. Stocks, stocks can also be in the form of, it can be shares in the companies as well. It can be, but it's not a asset which can be, it can be calculated in money terms, but it's not like land or labor or raw materials, which are tangible assets. So therefore, it's an intangible asset. Intangible assets can be calculated in money terms as well. But stocks, bonds, and securities are intangible because they don't have any fixed or tangible idea of it. So there is a formula calculation for GDP as well. We'll just go through what is GDP. GDP and welfare. The definition of welfare in economics is an effort by Alfred Marshall, an explorer and a neoclassical economist, to really analyze the field of study. This definition elucidates the stream of economic science to a larger study of humanity. Particularly, Marshall's view is that the field of economic studies all the pursuits that people take in order to attain economic welfare. In the words of Marshall, a man earns money to get material welfare. This definition expanded the scope of economic science by foregrounding study of wealth and humanity simultaneously, rather than that of wealth alone. So before going to the welfare of GDP, does stocks and bonds have physical form? Therefore, they are intangible assets.
They do, right?
Do they have any physical presence or form as such?
No.
Yes, they can be calculated in money terms. So intangible assets can be patents also, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Patents,
So no.
licenses. Yeah.
Yeah, but usually when even in accounts when we calculate, we
Okay.
can't. It does not come under non. It can come under investment, not under assets, right?
Yes, yes. So, so can bonds and securities be intangible or tangible, as per the points we have clarified?
Intangible.
Maybe it can be it can have a monetary value, right?
Yeah.
So it can be a monetary asset as such.
Yeah. No, intangible. But yeah.
Okay. So probably money value with assigned to it can also be tangible.
Yeah. Money value of center is obviously tangible. Yeah.
So probably we can put bonds and stocks in tangible assets itself because they have a monetary value assigned to it. Isn't it so? Like I just went through the definition of the intangible. So it says that the intangible asset is an identifiable non-monetary asset without physical substance. So as per the definition, stocks and bonds are tangible assets because
Tangible
they have
assets.
monetary as value attached to
Yeah.
it. So you can list them under tangible. So there is a correction there, maybe. And so GDP is needed in the welfare of the country as a whole. So this long article, which is being mentioned under GDP and welfare, uh, so is it beneficial to the country as a whole?
Yeah. Because the more the country produces, the more it sells. The more it sells, the more income, right?
Yes. So there's more income to the per capita, and country's value rises because of GDP, and India is calculated in terms of GDP growth, and in terms of GDP, India is the fifth largest economy in the world.
India, I thought was considered a poor country, no?
India is not a poor country; it's a developing country.
Yeah, but still it has the fifth largest GDP.
Yeah, it has the fifth largest GDP in the world
That's a good thing,
because
right?
that's a really good thing because India is a large country. It's the
Hmm.
seventh largest country in the world. And it has overtaken many countries to climb up to become the fifth largest economy in the world. 10
Huh.
years back, it was not even in the top 10.
Huh.
And in
So
the
what are the
last 10
other
years,
what are
yes,
the other four? America,
there's
China.
US, China, and another two countries, which are Germany
Oh,
and Japan, which is ahead of India as well.
oh.
India recently overtook France and United Kingdom to be the fifth largest economy.
Hmm.
And India's GDP is close to 327 trillion dollars in the world. So gross national product is the next concept. So gross national product refers to the total value of the goods and services produced by the residents and businesses of a country, irrespective of the location of production. GNP is equal to consumption expenditure plus investment plus government expenditure plus net exports plus net income. So GNP can be aggregate demand plus net income, right? As per the formula.
I'm not sure about the formula of aggregate demand.
Aggregate demand is equal to expenditure plus investment
Okay.
plus government expenditure plus net tax.
So, Tamyana,
Yeah.
what
And
are the
plus net
important
income.
formulas I will know for the calculation in this?
In this chapter, is it?
Yeah, for the numericals.
There are real GDP and gross nominal GDP for calculation, right?
GDP and no.
Do we have to calculate the GDP in numerical
Yeah,
terms?
yeah.
Okay. And other than that,
Value of output minus intermediate consumption.
okay. Value of output minus intermediate consumption.
The GDP at MP.
Okay. We will just we'll just show it on the whiteboard then. Do we? So what can be the formula of GDP? It is equal to total output minus intermediate consumption.
Total output minus intermediate consumption. Yeah. But that is not what we just did. No, what we said was GDP is the total product being produced by the country.
Yes, that is the theoretical definition of GDP.
No, so how can we measure it in a numerical value? Like if I have to write it down, if I have to find GDP.
Do we have not listed any numericals in this presentation?
Okay. No,
So
no,
they're
not
just
numeric, but
formulas.
like
Okay.
formula,
In
like the
formula terms,
GNP
sure.
formula.
So in formula terms also we'll list it out. So what does it say in the notebook as such for the formula?
It says GDP is value of output
Yeah.
minus intermediate consumption.
Okay. And are there any numericals attached to it or numerical values attached to it?
Yeah, but that is, I think, sums we have done from the textbook.
Okay. So this you can just note this formula. You can just keep this in mind.
Yeah.
So we will go to the next concept because we are running short of time,
Yeah.
and we'll go to net national product. We have another 15 or 20 minutes to go before the end of the session. So we
Yeah.
need to solve many concepts of gross national product, net national product, and the
Yeah, this
methods
one
of
I know.
measuring national product.
But Tamana,
Yeah,
this is minus depreciation, right?
yeah. So
Uh,
we know depreciation is the reduction of the value of an asset.
yeah. But MP is market price and FC is factor cost, right?
Yeah. So
Okay.
we'll go to factor cost. So GDP at factor cost and GDP at market
GDP
price.
at market price minus depreciation, right? Yeah.
This is the net national product at factor cost, which is
Hmm.
GDP plus income from abroad minus depreciation. So NNP is equal to GNP minus depreciation. So is it the same in the textbook? Because I have not gone through the textbook
Yeah.
in the 12th ISC, Frank.
No. I
So
think it's I think the same
some help
because I
has to be given.
remember. Yeah, I know. I remember learning it like this
Okay.
in class.
So net national product at factor cost is equal to the national income. The net national product of any economy is the gross national product after subtracting the loss due to depreciation. Here's the formula to find it. So it's as follows. NNP is equal to GNP minus depreciation, where gross national product is equal to GDP plus income from abroad. So it's, and next is at market prices. Is it the same in the textbook? At market prices, it's equal to minus
They
indirect
have not
taxes.
given they have not given exactly this. They haven't
Okay.
given it. See, they've given NNP at FC. Oh, it's NNP at MP. Is it what you're looking for?
It's national net national product and market prices. At market price minus indirect taxes equal to net national income at factor cost.
No, here they've put NNP at FC is equal to net ND is net domestic product at F factor cost
Okay,
plus net factor income from abroad. They have not
sure.
given NNP at NP. Maybe I'm not able to find it.
So factor cost as we have calculated as GDP plus income from abroad. And there are
NDP, not GDP.
yeah,
Not GDP, NDP.
NDP. NDP is not mentioned in this PowerPoint presentation.
Oh,
It
okay.
is not mentioned in the syllabus, so it is not included.
Oh,
So we'll go to GDP at factor cost, which is equal to sum of all gross value attached at factor cost. Factor cost is equal to cost of production plus subsidies minus taxes. So we are subtracting taxes because they are not, they are expenditure for households and firms. So they're not directly involved in the production process. There are subsidies are included in the factor cost because they are inputs into production and subsidies are provided by the government. GDP at market price is a price which is set after all the levels of value additions and which goods and services are sold or offered in the marketplace. Conventionally, the market price is the sum of the cost of production and indirect taxes. So market price is equal to cost of production or factor cost plus net indirect taxes, where net indirect taxes is equal to indirect taxes minus subsidies. So indirect taxes can be sales tax, GST, and value added tax. Excise tax can also be an example of net indirect taxes.
yeah.
And before going to real GDP and nominal GDP, we just read this article on. We have another 10 minutes to go. We will just go through the article on GDP as well. Yeah. Have some errors in getting the article. We will go through
Yeah.
the article at the end of the presentation.
Hmm.
So we can quickly go on to real GDP and nominal
So
GDP.
real GDP is basically GDP at FC, right?
At factor cost, right?
Yeah.
The real GDP measures changes in physical output between time periods by valuing all goods produced in the two periods at the same prices or in constant dollars. So real GDP, we can, as seen in the example, for a bottle of Pepsi in 2010 real GDP, we are measuring it in 2005 prices. So two bottles of Pepsi in 2010 in real GDP are calculated in 2005 prices. So the 2005 prices of Pepsi is $1. So we get the GDP as $2 for Pepsi for two
How
bottles of
how?
Pepsi
Okay.
because the
Okay.
value
Yeah,
is
yeah.
set
Two
at
bottles of.
2005. Yeah. And at for Sprite, three bottles of Sprite are at $0.5, which is the
Yeah.
value of one bottle of Sprite, which is equal to
Yeah.
$1.5. So when we add it, we get $3.5 of both
Hmm.
Pepsi and Sprite for the 2010 real GDP. In nominal GDP measures the value of output in a given period in the prices of that period in current dollars. So in 2005 nominal GDP, the price of one bottle of Pepsi is $1, and one bottle is equal to $1. And Sprite, the price of Sprite for per bottle is $0.5. So one bottle
Hmm.
Sprite for $0.5 added to be 1.5. And even in 2010 nominal GDP, it's calculated in the prices of 2010 at $2 of Pepsi per bottle, which is equal to $4. And for three bottles of Sprite at the value of $0.75, it's equal to 2.25.
Yeah.
So we add this and get $6.25. List out real GDP and nominal GDP. And we have to go through the income or the national income. So national income is the sum of factor earnings from the current production of goods and services. Factor earnings are incomes of factors of production, land, labor, and capital. Each dollar of GNP is $1 of final sales. And if there were no charges against GNP other than factor incomes, GNP and national income would be equal. Okay. The personal income is the national income account measure of the income received by persons from all sources. Income from wages, salary, social security, and other government benefits, dividends and interest, business ownership, and other sources. So personal income is very different from national income. So these are national income is calculated for goods and services in the production process, whereas personal income is the salary, rent, or wages, dividends, business owners, and other sources. When we subtract personal taxes payments from personal income, we get disposable personal income. So personal disposable income is equal to personal income minus taxes, personal income taxes.
Yeah.
So we are clear with the definitions of national income,
Yeah.
GDP, personal income, and national disposable income as well, or
Yeah.
personal disposable income.
No, I'm not clear with national disposable income. National disposable income is basically the national income plus net indirect taxes. The previous national income. No, the formula was there. Yeah. Plus net indirect taxes plus net current transfers from the rest of the world. Simply put.
So national disposable income includes national income. It includes net indirect taxes plus net current transfers. Whereas per capita income includes.
Net current transfers is like
Can
just
it
give me
be
an idea.
foreign remittances from the world? Can it
Okay.
be money transactions from the foreigners to India?
Yeah. Good.
And per capita income is the population's total income. Let's say a population's total income is what we can say as 300 crores, for example. And the population of India is 140 crores. So we can get the personal capita income as 300 divided by 140, which can be 1.55.
I didn't do the math. I was just listening.
Because, for example, the whole country earns 300 crores and the population of a country is 140 crores.
Okay, so you just divide it by the
300 is the population's total income divided by population of a specified area, which is India in this case. So 300 divided by
300
140 is,
by
yeah, it's
140,
2.14.
2.142.
Yes, that's right.
Yeah.
So it's the money earned by every person in that area divided by the population of that area. It determines an average income of a person in a country or a state or a specific region. In realistic terms, India's per capita income is, for average in an annual year, it is close to how many lakhs? Can it be less than 10 lakhs?
India's per capita income, is it? So, but that I don't know the national income for that, right? For like the population's total income.
We need to know the population.
Population we know is around 1 billion, 1 point some billion.
1.4 billion.
1.4 billion, but we don't know the population's total income, right?
We know that.
How much is it?
So we know the per capita income, which is 150,000 rupees. It's 1,50,000.
Huh.
So that is India's per capita income.
This is annual per capita income.
Yeah, that's the average annual per capita income.
But that is very less, right?
That's very less compared to developed countries like China, USA, Germany, and
What is the
Japan.
per capita income in countries like that?
In per capita of US, we're running short of time. We might have to schedule another session. There's less than a minute left. So will we continue in the next session at 5?
Tamyana, my exams are starting tomorrow. Can we do this after the commerce paper?
Sure. We can do it from
Thursday.
Friday.
Thursday or Friday. Yeah, anything's fine.
Yeah, Friday will be fine. So we'll have a 3-day break and we'll continue with national income from Friday. So all the best for the exams.
Thank
And
you.
we'll come back to economics from Friday. Till then, you can keep it at hold.
Are you taking up the offer my tutor gave you?
Yes, there'll be a demo class. So I'll be
Oh,
taking that soon.
oh, good.
See you. All the best for the exams and
Thank you.
concentrate well.